Now, since the leak of the Metal Gear Solid 2 source code, what has changed for you people out there who just want to play the game, ideally in the best way possible? Well, last time when I talked about the video, I promised to you there will be better mods and better fixes for the current playable games. And now, after a few days have passed, the community has actually focused on also doing a lot of fixes. And I found out also a lot of ways how to make that work thanks to the source code leak. So today I want to take a highlight at what we found out so far. So you maybe remember here, Octoxor a few years ago added to Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance a new mod which was called the SOS mod, or Substance of Subsistence. This was a hobby mod he made for the old PC version for Metal Gear Solid 2, and where he added this third-person over-the-shoulder camera, as we can see it here. Now, this mod has been a great success and has been published as well. You can find the code, of course, here on GitHub, where you can also download it and then play it yourself, basically, in Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance. Unfortunately, of course, this is the Substance version, and that's not preferable for many anymore, especially now with the Master Collection being out. But thankfully, thanks to the source code, we finally found it, the real third-person camera. Well, we say we. It was, of course, 𝐿𝐿 here inspecting the source code and then being able to replicate the same changes then again as an upcoming fix for the HDFix mod for the Metal Gear Solid 2 Master Collection PC version. And yes, this is actually the third-person camera mode that was already present in the HD version for Metal Gear Solid 2. As Bad Humans reported here, Kojima has actually talked about when they ported these games over to an HD platform that they wanted to add a proper third-person view back to Metal Gear Solid 2 as well. But ultimately, that feature was scrapped. But again, thanks to the source code leak, we've been able now to inspect that code and find out how we can activate it again. And especially from that activation with the source code, we can also then port that solution over to the current existing Master Collection version and can now play then soon. Now, if your attention span is short, you probably want to go and like, okay, I gotta download HDFix right now. Be aware, this is still under development and still needs a few more patches from what I've heard. Because again, this has been a feature that has not been officially released. There may be some issues coming up, so you need some testing, some time to play with it before you actually release it into the wild. But with an upcoming update then for HDFix for the Metal Gear Solid 2 Master Collection on PC, then you will also have the ability to play in third-person view. Which means, for me as a speedrunner, not only do we have the SOS mod now on our category extension board here, we also need to soon add it to the HD category extension board. Of course, you can find the latest updates about Metal Gear Solid HDFix here on Nexus Mod and of course on the GitHub. I will link everything in the description down below. But this is not everything. There's way more fixes coming with this update of HDFix. I'm very much looking forward to also having this little change here, where the ringtone has been changed now to the Sons of Liberty JP release of the game. You may not remember if you've never played the Japanese version, but when you get close to the fire and Olga's phone is ringing you, in the Japanese version and only in the Sons of Liberty release, actually that was the melody, the theme of Metal Gear Solid 2 playing. Check this out. So this is the original ringtone. And this is the ringtone that was usually played in Japan. So now you can soon use it again in the Master Collection version on PC as well, with an update to HDFix. And yet there's still more. Remember these small effects here in the cutscenes, such as this here? Hang on a second, that looked actually better in PlayStation 2. Well, thanks again to the source code leak, there's also an update coming here where the shine is actually looking way better now. There's also other changes coming here, like implementing a mirror fix. This mirror fix basically looks like this here, implemented by Space Core, where if you spray with the coolant spray against the mirror, the spray actually hits the mirror and doesn't just fly through. Then another one is in general texture swaps. This has been a bug that was present for the Metal Gear race, but also for the Harrier fight. You can see it here where even if you shot the Harrier, the textures did not swap. But soon, now also the Harrier will look damaged as it does here. And same thing again with the race as well, where they actually correctly update then the textures for the Metal Gear race during the fight. Another thing that came through with the source code leak as well was, what is the base tick rate and what should everything be played at, such as effects? Well, in the common HDFix, there's also going to be a change to rain effects and fire effects. As we can see them here, things that have been already fixed then now in 3.10, including also, of course, the fire effects as we see here, where the fire effect here is way too fast. It was already better on Vita, which is the HD version. And now soon with the MGS HDFix, it will also be accurate now. There's also another smaller change that I find still neat, and that is this fixes to the scaling of these Easter egg sprites for the PlayStation 1 version, and even the Metal Gear Solid Game Boy Color game or Metal Gear Ghost Babel. And my personal actually favorite is I can finally soon swap the X and O buttons, or A and B for an Xbox input, to cancel and confirm. On PlayStation 2, on the DualShock 2 controller, you pressed X to cancel and circle to confirm. And in the HD versions that got swapped, X got used as confirmation and O as cancelling. Now soon, we can properly also change this in HDFix for the Master Collection version on PC. Something that I actually use as well when speedrunning the Metal Gear Solid PC Substance version. But now, in HDFix, like I said, can also come out to the Master Collection version on PC. And as a reminder again, this fix is not out yet at the time of recording, and probably not even at the time of posting. But if this video has been out for a few days already, it's probably worth checking again, like GitHub or Nexus mod page. There's now been a final update. It should be named version 3.10 at a minimum, or if it's even higher, of course, these fixes are also included then as well. Something else that also got posted is this little thing here. This is a little tool that's basically pure HTML and some JavaScript where you can now use your clear codes and actually analyze them correctly. Something that was able to be done when the Konami servers were still live and you could even submit your scores via their clear code to their website. We can now finally use that leaked source code and reuse it like in a web application here. So if I take, for example, my 1 hour, 60 minutes and 54 second glitchless speedrun here for Metal Gear Solid 2 and the Sons of Liberty US release, and I take that code here, I can insert it in this website, which I already did for you here, and I can see exactly what's included in here. And apparently there's a lot more included than I initially thought. Not just only the format, which is important for the decoding here, but you know exactly the difficulty, the story path if you played only tanker, only plant, or both tanker and plant. What was your radar set to? What was your playtime? How many shots have you fired? How much damage have you taken? And so on and so forth. There's a lot here that's included, apparently within the decoding or encoding of that clear code. And now you can just use it yourself. Link again in the description down below. I don't want to say it, but to be honest, from a speedrunning point of view, we wanted to have this for a while. And I'm so happy this is finally out for us so we can just use a little web application like this. Like I literally just saved the code into an HTML file, slapped it in Firefox, and I can use it here. There's no server you need to run, thankfully. So anyone can take any clear code they see on a speedrun and can actually verify if that clear code matches what they submitted. Great. And of course, the master himself, SolidSnake11, has also been quite active, and here we see him playing around with another animation debug menu. So he has posted this here just a couple of days ago, and I can highly recommend watching the video yourself. And this is a little tool here where you can just load in different files and then have them execute different animations. And I gotta say, quite neat stuff here that you can play around with. There's also more he found out already. SolidSnake11 found the actual code that is, well, setting at least a baseline for the online multiplayer mode that got scrapped later on. We can see here different references like internet enabled and net goal and net enemy test. And as he says here, there's even commands to initialize the network session and actors to test the gamepad for a specific player. Sadly, seems the source package doesn't include the implementation of these actors, so we only have these scripts leftovers. So at the time, at least, I don't think we'll get an online multiplayer gameplay mode like this anytime soon. But maybe in the future, maybe like a base like this, I don't know. But that is already it for it today. I promised you this will be a short video, and I can also promise you this is probably not the last thing we'll hear yet from the source code leak. There's still so much more knowledge to get out of that source code, and I'm personally also reading almost every day, at least an hour or two into it, trying to understand better what is featured in there, how the game actually works. And again, that's the great part of this source code leak. Yes, it's the source code for the HD Vita version, but there's still so much original PlayStation 2 code in there. It's still very accurate, even if you're playing the later versions or if you want to have insights for the earlier releases of Metal Gear Solid 2's life cycle.